Clearly, Pat Bev wore off on Ant-Man. Anthony Edwards puts his foot in his mouth yet again. So Magic Johnson lays into Anthony Edwards because he deserved it. Seriously, where was the Timberwolves PR team? From underrated.media, I'm Dave DeBaugh, and this is the Underrated Pod.
This is Phoenix.
You've been knocked down and got up again. In a corner, you're surrounded, no defenders.
Welcome back to the Underrated Pod, and seriously, tonight we are going to talk about the foot in the mouth moment that Anthony Edwards actually had during an interview with the Wall Street Journal. I want to begin this by saying, look, I actually saw Magic Johnson play in person. Not just once, not just twice, but more times than Trey Lance has actually thrown interceptions in a preseason game. Look, ultimately, I grew up in Southern California during the Showtime era, and I was fortunate enough to actually see the Los Angeles Lakers play. Now, as an adult, I've also been a big fan of the Minnesota Timberwolves and certainly Anthony Edwards. So I wanted to get that all out in the clear. Now, if you haven't heard about this controversy at all, it's pretty simple. Anthony Edwards, basically in a statement, said to a reporter at the Wall Street Journal, interestingly enough, as far as I can tell, there was no Minnesota Timberwolves PR person with him. Seriously, have the Timberwolves had some budget cuts? Is the ownership dispute actually working its way down to the budget of the public relations team? That would be the one question that I have. How do they let Anthony Edwards actually do an interview with the Wall Street Journal without somebody from the public relations team with him? Okay, so that's the first thing. But the statement that Anthony Edwards actually made, I'm going to go ahead and read this. I didn't watch it back in the day, so I can't speak on it. They say it was tougher back then than it is now, but I don't think anybody had skill back then. Michael Jordan was the only one that really had skill. You know what I mean. So that's why when they saw Kobe Bryant, that is, they were like, oh my God. But now everybody has skill. Okay, so that was Anthony Edwards' statement. Now for Magic Johnson's response, I'm going to go ahead and play the video from an interview with Stephen A. Smith last week.
Anthony Edwards just said the other day that there really wasn't any skilled players in the NBA back in the day outside of Michael Jordan. That's what he said. Your response to that, Irvin Magic Johnson?
Well, you know, I don't never respond to a guy that's never won a championship. There's not nothing to really say. He didn't win a college championship. I don't know if he even won a high school championship.
So a quick correction on Magic Johnson's statement. Anthony Edwards actually did win a championship in high school, but that's not the point of this conversation. You know, I understand where Anthony Edwards was trying to go with his statement. He was trying to go someplace that, quite frankly, he should have never tried to go. There was certainly a different way that Anthony Edwards could have paid Michael Jordan some compliments and not ripped on the rest of the National Basketball Association. And I do also have to say that while the game is significantly different today than it was back then the game was certainly a lot rougher, a lot tougher, and the kinds of shots that Anthony Edwards is actually able to take today might not have been possible back in the day when defense was actually played. And I'm not just talking about like defense, but I'm actually talking about actually being extremely physical with people. That is what the NBA was all about. It was about being physical, and it is a completely different league today. As we can tell, the NBA is trying to put a little bit more physicalness back into the game, but it is a fine line between like the Bill Laimbeer style basketball of yesterday and where we're at today. And I think the last thing the NBA really wants to do is go all the way back to that. But they certainly wouldn't mind things to be a little bit more physical. So when I saw all of this stuff breaking in the last 48 hours, basically, I, took a step back, thought about it. And when you think about Magic Johnson and how great Magic Johnson is, on and off the court. Now, for Magic Johnson to actually go after somebody, it is something that rarely happens publicly. Does it happen behind closed doors? I'm sure it happens often behind closed doors, because Magic Johnson is not only a great basketball player, not only a great businessman, but he is also a person that isn't going to simply lay down and take it. So if anybody were to say anything detrimental to Magic Johnson, he would most likely handle it, but normally he would handle it behind closed doors. So for him to react the way he reacted is a rarity as it comes to Magic Johnson, the public persona that we've all known to grow and love over the years. So for Anthony Edwards, all I can say is it's been, as a fan of Anthony Edwards, it has been a little bit of an up and down roller coaster ride, at least from the things that he said in the past. Now, I'm not going to cover them on today's show, but let's just say this wasn't the first time, and I'm sure it won't be the last time, that Anthony Edwards actually puts his foot in his mouth. That doesn't denigrate anything from the Anthony Edwards on the basketball court and the Anthony Edwards I hope to see in the future. But I think what this actually should say to both Anthony Edwards as well as the Minnesota Timberwolves PR team is pretty simple. Make sure that you have somebody with your players when they're actually being interviewed by the Wall Street Journal. All right, North America. Super short pod. I would love to know what your thoughts are on this particular controversy. Hey, we are 1 million plus views in on the channel. Thanks so much for all your support. If you haven't had a chance, please subscribe and, of course, like this video for the Underrated Pod. I am Dave DeBob, wishing you all a tremendous rest of your sports viewing day. To the guitar riffs we go.
This is Phoenix.